To mothers who have recently birthed a child and battle daily with spit up, diapers, and nap times.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To mothers who deal daily with endless doctor's appointments, meltdowns, and toys scattered everywhere.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To the single moms who feel like they are carrying this burden alone.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To the grandmothers and great-grandmothers, we need you. We appreciate the extra help you give to us and wisdom you show to us. Your strong and steady presence does not go unnoticed.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To the women here who are dealing with loss this year, loss of a parent, loss of a child. To those who struggle with infertility, to the empty nesters, to those who have experienced abuse from their mom, for grandparents who have not yet been able to hold a grandchild in their arms.
We mourn with you, we walk beside you. Please forgive us when we are not careful with our words. We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To stepmoms who battle to gain respect and love.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you.
To women everywhere who have helped us, guided us, challenged us, cried with us, and spoken powerful words over us.
We see you, we thank you, we bless you. We are who we are because you have loved us.
After these things, Jesus showed himself again to the disciples by the Sea of Tiberias, and he showed himself in this way. Gathered there together were Simon Peter, Thomas called the twin, Nathanael of Cana in Galilee, the sons of Zebedee, and 2 others of his disciples. Simon Peter said to them, "I am going fishing." They said to him, "We will go with you." They went out and got into the boat, but that night they caught nothing. Just after daybreak, Jesus stood on the beach, but the disciples did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to them, "Children, you have no fish, have you?" They answered him, "No." He said to them, "Cast the net to the right side of the boat, and you will find some." So they cast it, and now they were not able to haul it in because there were so many fish. That disciple whom Jesus loved said to Peter, "It is the Lord." When Simon Peter heard that it was the Lord, he put on some clothes, for he was naked, and jumped into the lake. But the other disciples came in the boat, dragging the net full of fish, for they were not far from the land, only about 100 yards off. When they had gone ashore, they saw a charcoal fire there, with fish on it and bread. Jesus said to them, "Bring some of the fish that you have just caught." So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net ashore, full of large fish, 153 of them. And although there were so many, the net was not torn. Jesus said to them, "Come and have breakfast." Now none of the disciples dared to ask to him, "Who are you?" because they knew it was the Lord. Jesus came and took the bread and gave it to them, and did the same with the fish. This was now the 3rd time that Jesus appeared to the disciples after he was raised from the dead. May God bless the hearing and understanding of these words.
Good morning. My name's Patricia Clark, and I'm the Director of Children's Youth and Family here at University Park. And like Bethany said earlier, we have a special presentation this morning from our Guatemala Medical Mission Team. So I'm going to go ahead and invite those of you who were a part of that medical mission team to come on up. They're going to tell us a little bit about their trip, the things that they did, the people that they met. And I'm really excited to hear about it, and I know that a lot of you have been asking about this trip. So here they are.
Thank you so much, Patricia. I'm Amy Long, for those of you who don't know me, and I inherited the leadership of this Guatemala Medical Mission trip from the esteemed George Kramer, who is sitting there in the back in the beautiful yellow shirt. So this was I'm going to get it wrong, George, maybe the 7th mission trip. The first trip was a smaller group, George and Linda and maybe a few others. I'm going to forget names if I try and list them all. And then, and Pastor Paul Cockey. Oh goodness, don't want to forget him. So then we have gone every other year approximately since that time. Now this trip was a little bit delayed due to the pandemic, but each of those excursions has been under the auspices of an organization called Salud y Paz. And so that is a group that was started back in the beginnings of it were in 2001 by a dentist from Texas who had gone on a mission trip to Guatemala and realized the incredible need for, at that time specifically, dental services. And he realized that the needs of Guatemala extended far beyond what any one-week trip could accomplish. And so he went about establishing a clinic in a town called Camanchac in Guatemala. And that clinic exists to this day, and Salud y Paz has grown to now have 3 separate clinics, the one in Camanchac and then 2 others. They host, pre-pandemic, at least 40 mission groups a year, and then continue to provide both medical and dental services in those freestanding clinics. And these clinics essentially act as a supplement to the national health care that's available in Guatemala, because that is often underfunded, under-resourced, et cetera. So we have been so fortunate to work with the team at Salud y Paz, and they now, I just looked this up, have about 30 full-time staff that are in Guatemala year-round, supporting not only the mission trips, but the clinics that are functioning throughout the year in Guatemala. They also support a school called the Susanna Wesley School, which I know that past mission trips have done service projects for that school. It's a pre-K through first grade, and that school was especially important during the pandemic because it provided support to those students. If you can believe it, we went on our trip in March 20th. The schools in Guatemala had only opened to in-person instruction 2 weeks prior to us arriving. So Guatemalan students were remote learning, whatever that looked like, in various parts of the country for a solid 2 years with no face-to-face contact with their students. So the Salud y Paz School at Susanna Wesley provided a hugely important role at trying to provide education, connectedness in the community, and all of that throughout the pandemic. So I know that all of us are so grateful to the support that Salud y Paz has provided to all of our trips. And so I wanted to just give a background of that organization, and now we're each going to take a turn, some of us in person and some of us remotely. The one aside is that we managed to avoid coronavirus while we were all down in Guatemala, but it seems like this week has taken our team down. So Zach will be presenting remotely, and Jeremy and I are masked because we are now out of isolation, but recently recovered from coronavirus. So who knows? The pandemic goes on. But I will pass it along to Jeremy for the next presentation. Oh.
Do you want to try?
They're going at the end.
They're going at the end. Okay, great. Well, I just wanted to tag on to that and just point out that when we go to Guatemala, we go kind of with the knowledge that this church, over its history, has had just a tremendous a track record of service, particularly to the global health community. And, you know, there's so many things that we could think about, but just, you know, in recent times, things like, you know, our Sierra Leone presence, which we just owe so much to Hope and Les, and many others. But to recognize that for immigrants, asylees, refugees, putting together care kits, Project Cure, so many other things that both locally and abroad, this congregation and its affiliated kind of partners can just claim such an incredible record of responding both proactively to try and ameliorate the effects of poverty around this world, but also in the midst of disaster through UMCOR and many other ways that our congregation and the church more globally really is acting as the hands and the feet and the heart of Christ. And for me, my reflection is just that having now done this 6 times, that I have this incredible gift that I get to kind of think about the work that I do in my day-to-day, and then really take myself out of a comfort zone and put myself into a world that I can't really imagine, even though I've been there 6 times, just the effects of just really social injustice and governmental injustice, and to think that our team is really doing everything we can to partner with the experts on the ground level in Guatemala to really do some of this work, and that we are just one of the cogs in a machine that's really trying to overcome a lot of just a tremendous disparities in access to healthcare. And I feel so grateful to this congregation for everything that has done, is doing, and will do, and I just feel lucky to be a part of that. Jean.
I have to read this because I'm not good at ad-libbing. So this was my 4th time to go to Guatemala, and each time that I've gone, I have come away with an understanding of just, at least the people we were all in contact with, how wonderful and gracious and kind they are and were to us and to each other. and how dedicated, like you've said, how Saluti Paz is as a staff to contribute to their well-being, and how much I grew as a part of each time I've gone. You know, we do provide good medical care, especially for those with chronic diseases as high blood pressure and diabetes. It's not just handing out ibuprofen or Tylenol. Many of these people have very basic chronic health diseases, and there is no infrastructure in their communities. We were in four totally different villages this time, as far as, because we would go into the mountainous areas, and so we were in these very small, rustic villages, and there is no such thing, at least from my perspective, as infrastructure in those sites. And so we as a team, one of the things I guess I took away more this time than maybe I have in the past is how much the team works together, and how we kind of coalesce as a group around what our purpose is and what our belief system is there. Our team is an outstanding group of compassionate, kind, and knowledgeable people. Each one of us made the team work, and therefore because the team worked, the flow worked, and it just went all so very smoothly. And one of the things I remember most clearly is the last place we were at, we got there, and again, very small village, and we kind of got out of the bus, and we walked up, and I don't know about anybody else, but I was like, there were 4 posts and a tin roof and a dirt floor, and that's where we set up our clinic. And you know what? Nobody said a word. Everybody just pitched in, got it together. Curtains went up, tables were brought in by many of the villagers themselves. Everybody pitched in and helped, and it worked. It worked. And I kind of got home and thought about that and went, whoa. I mean, this is, from my experience, it's so different. It's so different from how I've lived my life and what I have come in contact with. And George, we did miss you. We thought about you. I especially thought about you because I was doing the pharmacy with Andy, and thank you so much for all you've done to contribute to all of these trips. I mean, it was your brainchild from what I remember, so thank you for that. And I guess I also have to say, you know, your pastor, Andy, he's got skills. I would not have been able to handle that pharmacy without Andy. So thank you, Andy, for wherever you are, and I hope you are better very soon. Lastly, thank you for this church's ongoing support of this mission trip, and for Amy for encouraging us all to again open our hearts and our minds so that this trip happened. And I have to say, Bert was my roomie, and she brought her registered nurse skills, and thank goodness, because she and Zach and Charlie and everybody just made things hum along. So our flow went very, very smoothly. Again, thank you all.
Hi all, it's Zach. I'm so sorry that I can't be with you today in church as we celebrate our time in Guatemala. I'm unfortunately in quarantine, but I wanted to share some things that I found memorable about my week back in March down in Guatemala. It was such a great week, I really enjoyed it, and here are just a few things that I saw as I was down there. So I first want to talk about the attitude of the patients. You know, I was able to see half the patients. Me and Bert and I were down there, and we checked in all the patients. So we would take their temperature, take their blood pressure, weigh them, and then sort of talk to them about why they were there. We were able to have conversations with the people. And what I found is that they were all all of them were super, super nice, and they were really forgiving. I'm learning Spanish right now. It's not perfect in any sense of the word, and they were able to really, be forgiving with the way that I was speaking and all the mistakes that I was making, and there were a lot of them. And so, I think that just the way that they were so nice, so appreciative. They don't get this sort of medical care very often. It probably happens to them once every 3-5 years, sometimes even more, especially in the place where we were, which is a city called Chichicastenango. And I think that they were really grateful for what we were providing them. I think it was really evident that we were seeing God in every patient that was coming up. And that was really special because they're all just these incredibly nice people. They have all gone through a lot of different things throughout their lives, and just talking to them about that, and even just their medical problems that they're having, you're really able to connect with people and create that sense of community, which I really liked. And then I also want to talk about the organization of Salud y Paz as a whole. They're a really great organization. They go out to communities in several different cities in Guatemala and have these teams that will, check patients in and provide them with medicines and other things. And they provide all those services. They provided us with medications and lodging and all the activities that we did. It's just a really great organization. They do so much for the people of Guatemala, and it's really special to see that right now, in a time where Guatemalans are experiencing a lot of hardship, their government is putting in a lot of restrictions related to COVID. And so in that time, they're able to get teams down there like us. We were all really grateful to go. And I thought it was so great to meet all these wonderful people from the organization, the translators that we had, our group leader, Jose. They're all so nice. And I think that it was just really great to see. So thank you. Have a great day.
I'll say this, Charlie and Heidi Seaborn, there was a picture of them earlier, were not here, but Andy said that the people of Guatemala thought Charlie Seaborn was hilarious because he is so tall. And so all week, all the kids were just like, what? And so they kept handing him basketballs to just dunk, and they thought that was amazing. They're like, again. They had never seen, I guess, somebody that tall, and so they thought that he was hilarious all week dunking these basketballs. So even though it was a medical mission trip, it was also a basketball trip. God, we thank you for who you are. We thank you for the tools and the resources that you give us so that way we can go and be the hands and feet of Jesus. God, we thank you for that, for being able to send us to places that may not have the same tools or the same resources that we have. God, we love that that's how you use us to go serve your people. God, we thank you for the many, many ways that you are going to use all of us to serve the world, to go out and be your disciples. We thank you for that, and we thank you for who you are, and we thank you for the way that you love us. And it's in your name. Amen. I pray this morning that you guys go in peace, knowing that God is going to use you with all the different gifts and talents that God has given each of us. So go and make disciples of all nations.